Hey, Team MSC. As many of you guys who are actively following me know, I have been hanging out with Jody Vasquez. Jody is an amazing man. I'm so happy to have gotten to know him. He's so friendly, he's so cool. He's 70 years old. He looks like he's 40 and acts like he's 25. He's easy to laugh, and I swear, he's just one of the most charming people I've ever met in my life. Now, if you don't know the story, in 1950 or 1963, when Jody was about 17 years old, he started shagging golf balls for Ben Hogan. And Jody worked for him for the next 4 years, and he would work with him about 5 days a week. Yeah, that's a lot of time with Mr. Hogan. And he would spend usually 3 or 4 hours practicing with Mr. Hogan while he hit balls, worked on his short game, and putted. Now, it's interesting to note, I would say, that Jody worked with Mr. Hogan during the period that he played Sam Snead in Shell's Wonderful World of Golf when he hit 14 fairways and 18 greens. So we are talking about Mr. Hogan was still hitting the ball beautifully. Here I'm actually hitting my friend Seth's 3 wood or this might be a 4 wood from his Ben Hogan set. I've got a special shoot tomorrow coming up, and I'm trying to get everything, all together for that up here in Fort Worth. It's very exciting. But what I'm doing here is I'm trying to employ all the things that Jody Vasquez taught me. He taught me a lot about the secret. And I've known about Jody's work. I've seen it and read it before. We all know that he talks about running at the ball with the right knee. And he says that Mr. Hogan only revealed half of the secret when he talked about cupping of the wrist at the top of the backswing. And the thing that I really grew to understand is the two are actually connected in a way. The knee running at the ball, in a way, sort of pulls the handle down. And there's a lot of interesting things that Mr. Vasquez told me about. So let's take a look at this latest swing. And we'll just watch it in slow motion one time. I'm working with a tour tempo metronome. I hit that ball beautifully. I'm pretty happy with that swing, actually. So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is I have this right knee really braced. I'm really trying to feel that I'm not letting it get away from me, and I'm trying to keep the bend in this right leg. These are all things that I've talked about. But again, this is a deeper understanding of concepts that I've already heard. And Jody told me that Mr. Hogan he wouldn't just give you a dissertation on everything, because he felt it was worthless to just ramble on verbally if you're not going to physically do the work. You physically have to do the work. So again, these are things that I'm aware of, but I've got a checklist. I got to make sure everything's right. I want to keep this right knee bent, and this is going to be my anchor for my swing. I like this set at the top, and you can see where my right hip is right here. I'm going to work on a larger lateral move. That's the biggest difference of my swing today than a week ago, is I'm incorporating a real big lateral move a la Ben Hogan and Lee Trevino. In fact, I learned from Jody, who's good friends with Lee Trevino, that these guys are doing a lot of the same things in their golf swing. So you can see that I get really far left as compared to when I was at the top of the backswing. Wow, that's the farthest easily That's the most distance I've ever covered with my hips. Real solid strike on the ball. You know, one thing that Jody was telling me is he's like, you know, we all have different bodies. We're not going to hit the ball exactly like Mr. Hogan. I'll tell you what, Jody has the craziest looking impact position I've ever seen. It just looks amazing. But look at these angles here that I'm finding. Yeah, so I'd like to talk about this impact position for a second. This is probably the finest impact position that I've seen from myself so far in my swing evolution. One of the important things that I'm learning is, you can see I have forward shaft lean here as that club goes into the ball. I used to think that the forward shaft lean was my hands getting ahead, but that's not the way it works, because this left arm has to stay connected right here to the body. That's how Mr. Hogan did it. And his hands were usually around here when he struck the ball on these face-on views. I used to try and get my hands forward here, and that just messes everything up. You know, as I talk about having a body swing, you can kind of see how my body is rotating and those arms are kind of like coming along for the ride. But that's a really nice impact position. Plenty of right arm to give. Tell you, hitting these old woods feel really good. That Hogan wood is just dynamite. And my friend Seth lent me these Hogan Apexes that are just mint. I mean, they are the most solid Hogan irons I've ever hit. So now I have to find those irons for myself. But this is a beautiful position here. I like the club pointed straight down the range. And I've got this nice Hoganish extension here. Now, again, my body being different than Ben Hogan's, I'm probably not going to be able to accelerate the club the way that he did. You know, but I'm pretty happy with this. You know, my body's just rotating around, and it's going to pull me up onto a nice steady finish onto my left leg. My foot turns over a little bit more. I'd like to have it a little bit flatter, but, you know, one thing at a time. So let's watch this golf swing one last time. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So guys, in Dallas, Grapevine Golf Course, this Saturday, I am putting on a Hogan Code / My Driving Evolution clinic. Okay? I'm going to work on all the Hogan principles. I will show everybody every secret I've learned from every one of the instructors I've worked with. I've been doing this for a long time. I've worked with Chris Cheddar, Greg McHatton, Matt Ben Cresciuto, and also Jody Vasquez. And these people know the game of golf. So I'm really excited to share all of that. And we're going to work on our speed. And every single golfer in my last 2 clinics got faster, with 3 people gaining 18 miles an hour of clubhead speed. It's hard to believe, but it's true. So guys, hit them long and hit them straight.